Previously on Bleach. Toshiro's out of the fight, Momo's out of the fight, Shinji's out of the fight, Ichigo's on his way to the fight, and Komamura is a werewolf. Can you answer the phone? Because I fucking called it! How did you even do... You know what, I don't even care. Everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 557, and this is also a momentous occasion because this is the first time I've actually forgotten the chapter title. I don't have my computer here to help me, and I'm not going back upstairs to check it because my room is filled with shit. It's something like, I had to cast away my life, or I shall cast my life aside, something like that. You get the basic gist of it. So, chapter starts off with explosions aplenty, as Tokujo Tenmengyo Dangai Joe makes its epic arrival and casts off its armor, much to Bambietta's shock and awe. Actually, I gotta stop right there. Up until this point, I've been pronouncing her name as Bambietta, and a lot of other people in the community and some people that have left comments finally got around to telling me, hey, it's actually pronounced Bambietta. And at first I'm just like, okay, I've been calling her Bambietta for like a year. So, nobody decided to tell me this until now. It has to be pronounced Bambietta. But then I was looking at the pronunciation a little bit more, like the way it's spelled. I'm thinking, actually, Bambietta sounds a lot more cooler, and it makes a lot more sense, because, you know, the eta, the eta suffix. So, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to go with Bambietta from now on. Bambietta's probably going to squeak by, but I honestly like Bambietta Basterbine even more. So I'm going to go with that. But you guys have really dropped the ball here. Like, I know some people probably left me a couple of comments, but usually when I get somebody's name wrong, like every video I get, you pronounced it wrong, you pronounced it wrong, you pronounced it wrong. Don't you know German, you stupid American? Although you can't really blame Bambietta for being shocked by this display, as the title page of this freaking chapter basically depicts this horrible fiery-eyed demon from hell ready to slice right through your computer screen and stab you right in the freaking jugular vein and sending you down into the darkest pits of the inferno for all eternity. Seriously, I love this title page. I mean, Kubo, you can tell Kubo had a lot of fun with this chapter just from drawing Tokujo Tengen Dangai Joe, because there's like 3 full-page spreads, or like full-page depictions of this freaking thing just being awesome. So, I really think Kubo just actually saw Shingeki no Kyojin, and he's a fan of it, and he just like, okay, well, I can't... Okay, who in Bleach can I use, like, that has giants? Okay, Komamura. And Yami. Okay, Yami's dead, so we can't do that. Alright, I'll just make Komamura's bankai redesigned and make it look more badass, so it'll be like I can draw Titans in this series. Basically, I think that's what Kubo was going for here. This title page is beautiful. I want to like frame it and put it up in a museum. It's so good.
Holy shit, is that a Titan? You know, I heard they'd be naked, but that's a lot more naked than I expected.
And boom goes the dynamite. How long was that? That was about 8 hours. 8 hours, give or take, since Attack on Titan Abridged came out on Team 4-Star, and I'm already the first manga reviewer to make a reference over it. Oh yeah! Seriously, you need to go check that shit out if you haven't. Alright, so Bambietta does manage to dodge the first onslaught of Dangai Joe by turning into Batgirl very briefly, and Bambietta simply states to Komamura that she believed that underneath Tokujo Tengen would just be a regular dog appearance as opposed to this, emancipated form. And, Bambietta, Chica, you really need to start gauging your reaction speed, because this huge, giant Titan thing that looks like it got literally ripped from the pages of H.P. Lovecraft is trying to kill you. So, this is okay. It was fun before. It was fun before when you were fighting against Koma the first time, and you were fighting against Shinji, and, you thought you had the upper hand here with your Volt standing and Mrs. Blow everything up in a 10-mile radius. But this is the time you need to actually get your head in the game and not make sarcastic quips, because that shit's gonna get you killed. So Bambietta attacks Tengen with her The Explode powers, but it counters by simply telling her to talk to the hand, bitch. Oh my god, it really is like a Titan. You know, I mean, I could sit here and just make Shingeki no I mean, I can't wait until Bankai does the review of this, because my god, if he does the review of this, it would just be... that's all it would be for him. That would like, this has to be like the Christmas chapter for him, really. But yeah, so the Bankai can heal now, which is a major step up from before, which as I recall, yeah, every injury the Bankai gets, Koma gets, and vice versa. So in this situation, it's kind of an uptake. Some people were actually assuming that there was some kind of augmented healing or some kind of ability where some people are actually getting really clever. They were thinking that any injury that gets inflicted on Tengen Myo Dangaijo gets inflicted on the opponent rather than the enemy, and I didn't really, but rather than the giant or Koma, and I didn't really see this happening because I'm like, that might be a little bit too complicated for Koma's Bankai, but just the fact that it's healing after he gets hit, right there, that's like a huge step up immediately, and we're going to get into more of that later in the chapter. So despite what I was so happy about last chapter, where Koma just leaps into battle, he doesn't talk, he doesn't do any exposition shit, he gives a little bit of exposition shit. Granted, not as much as other characters did, like when Nanao flatly stated to Hashwolf exactly what they were doing in forms of the barrier, or when Toshiro and Rangiku were stating how their vacuum ice thing worked, but he does give a little bit of exposition on exactly how his Bankai functions. Basically, the armor in which it was encasing Tokujo Tengen Myo made it a physical being or matter. Underneath that armor, that image that we see right now, the flaming eye god of death, yeah, that is all just pure Ryatsu right now, and therefore you can't destroy something that's not physical matter. It's basically like attacking air, or attacking pure aura, or chi, or chakra, or whatever the hell you want to be talking to, what you want to call it. It's basically like attacking an energy source. It can just heal up so quickly, so there's no reason for it to get hurt. He states that that technique cannot defeat him, which I kind of cringed when he said that, because I'm like, a Koma... it's only halfway through this chapter. I know this isn't going to kill Bambietta, and that just makes me more... I mean, you're in the lead, bro. You're in the lead. You know, she's got a couple harpy wings and some Angry Bird bombs and a, you know, a menstrual cycle fit, but you have the giant Titan deity that could kick the Colossal Titan in the balls down. So, I mean, you're in the lead, bro, but you gotta... you better let the confidence level get a little bit down there. Oh, and by the way, yes, I know that Titans do not have sex organs, because someone's gonna leave a comment below. It's like, Tekking, the review is great, except you do know that Titans don't have genitalia. I'm like, okay, yes, I do. I've seen the series. Kind of. So, she dodges it again and retorts to Koma's claim that his Bankai cannot be damaged by anything because it's pure Ryatsu by saying that, well, it should work because, like I said, I create my bombs out of anything. So, you know, my Ryatsu versus your Ryatsu, it should work. So she attacks it again, it blocks it and heals it again, and Koma just states, okay, you're really not, you're not getting this, okay. Explosions are a truly terrifying thing, as he puts it. However, it's only really terrifying if you have a life to lose. And he's probably referring to anything, not just explosions, but any kind of bodily injury. It's only really a threat if you're about to get killed. I mean, for example, if I take out a shotgun and point it at a guy's face, he's going to be like, oh, please, God, don't shoot me. If I take a gun and I point it at a mannequin, no one's going to give a shit because there's no life there. You know, so basically, yeah, Koma's a mannequin, or a zombie. Actually, that's not far off from an apt definition of what Koma might be. But yeah, regardless, he states that there is no life in his Bankai. It's just a clump of Ryatsu, so there's no reason, it's not going to get injured no matter, even if you do manage to damage it, you know, it's just simply not going to work. After Koma talks more about his life, we cut back over to the Falcor dog, where Koma's actual heart is lying in the sake cup in front of him. And it's basically finally revealed exactly how the human metamorphosis technique functions. See, basically, we all thought, like, you know, you put the heart in there and then you transform into a human. No, what that really represented, though, wasn't just like you put your heart in there and you get another heart, or it's not like Sajin had two hearts or anything. No, he literally put his life in that sake cup. Komamura, as of now, is just a shell. He's nothing more. He gained immense power, and he's basically immortal now in this state, which begs the question exactly why they wouldn't want to stay in this state all the time if they're immortal and they can still act human and they can still do everything else that a person can do, except you're not alive, you're basically a zombie. But yeah, by the way, Komamura can be classified now as a zombie werewolf, so fanfiction writers, break out your Microsoft Word documents for that. But yeah, all in all, he's basically immortal at this point. And it's funny because Bambietta even tries to counter-argument this. Like, she thinks Koma's lying to her. She basically says, like, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. You're just trying to bullshit me. If I destroyed this bankai, you would still be here. You can survive its destruction. But if I tried to destroy you, your bankai wouldn't be able to survive that. So she turns her attacks and to Koma, which results in him getting a massive gash in his body, even more confirming the fact that, yeah, it ain't gonna work. You can pump me full of holes as much as you want. It ain't gonna happen. Now, I don't know if Koma heals from this wound the way Tokujo Tengen-myo did. I would assume he did, considering the fact, like he might have, if it just, I might have missed the panel, but it's just the fact that I'm assuming that he is a clump of Ryatsu as well, the same thing as Tokujo Tengen-myo. He didn't really go into detail exactly what he is. He just says, you know, I'm a shell of my former self, I don't have any organs, I don't have, you know, any life within me, and I am basically immortal. But he didn't really go into, you know, elaboration exactly what his physical body is made of at the moment. Wait a second, hold on. Okay, you're talking about how you're an empty shell of who you formerly were, and how your life got lost in order to fight in this battle, and now you have a huge gash in your heart. Really? Really? We're doing this? We're okay. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Oh god. Okay. Komamura's like Obito! Ah! Okay. My body rejected myself when I said that. It's like, you need to die for saying that, Tekking. Okay. Oh, by the way, did you know Naruto's not going to come back until next year? So, yeah, maybe Kishi can figure out some, you know, roundabout tactic on how to get done with the war arc finally. So, where were we? Oh yeah, right. Tokujo Tengen-myo Dangaijo about to split Bambietta in half like a piece of German sausage. Yes. Oh, FML, OMG, IFD. Bambietta's last words in this chapter consist of asking Komamura exactly why he decided to toss his entire life away, or in the way she's describing it, she believed that Koma destroyed or got rid of his life in order to fight here. And Koma retorts by saying that he did not throw his life away, but he did put it at stake for this battle. So that's like the most literal way you can interpret this. You know, like how most warriors, they step on the battlefield like, I'm putting my life on the line to defeat you. No, Koma actually took it one step farther. He's a real man. He actually ripped out his heart and is like, there, dog. My life is literally at stake, which I guess that's implying that if Koma, like, I don't know, the dog will actually eat his heart, because it was in a sake cup, so I'm assuming, like, if Koma doesn't come back after a certain amount of time, or if he dies here, well, I guess he can't die, but there's some, they probably made some agreement, that at the end of the agreement, and if Koma doesn't meet it, then the dog eats the heart, because the dog, right there, sake cup, full of the heart, you know, it's like, it's right there, so yeah. But he states that he put his life at stake because of his pride as a warrior, and because Yamamoto put his life on the line the same exact way, and actually resulted in him dying for it, that he's decided to come to this battle, and the decision was made that he would cast it aside. Oh my god, that panel is kick-ass! Like, it's like the very essence of being a man, you know, Elfin approves, you know, like, Koma shouts, you know, his resolve as Tokujo Tengen-myo Dangaijo just, boom, Bambietta going down, and somehow, whenever it came in contact with Bambietta, it exploded, you know, like, I guess she got exploded, right? Just, every time I look at that, I just, rah! Okay. Yeah, so, oh, did you get the little scene there where Komamura's aura, or Ryatsu, takes the form of his true wolf self? So, yeah, I'm assuming, like, after this fight's over, and assuming that he doesn't, you know, die somehow. Because he says he's immortal, but I'm thinking, if he's immortal, then by theory, couldn't he just go around and kill everybody? So he's not immortal, but I think he is going to go back to being a dog at some point. I don't think he's just going to stay a human. But there was probably some agreement with the Falcor dog, you know, like how long I stay out on the battlefield, or if I win and if I don't change things for us, then you're allowed to just eat my life, and then I die, quite literally. So there's that. You know, this chapter was short. I was originally disappointed by it. You know, I originally read it this morning fairly early after I got up out of bed, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Coma, okay, he's immortal, whatever. And I actually analyzed it a little bit, and after that, I kind of got on to exactly what Kubo was going for here, just for the sake of the artwork. This one was pretty good because Kubo is not known for doing the the really elaborate artwork here. You can tell though he put a lot of detail into Dangaijo. It's one of the more descriptive things we've seen in Bleach. Before like with the lines on his body, like Emancipation, we got the ropes, the white beard mustache of doom, the fire coming out of its eyes. It looks pretty foreboding. It doesn't. Well, last week when we saw it, I forgot to mention this. It didn't. I was gonna say it didn't look something like out of Bleach. It looked like something out of Naruto or One Piece or something else. It did not look like this belonged in Bleach. But it's a great breath of fresh air, and we could see that he definitely loved drawing it. So next chapter, I think we're going to do the old Kubo start off and switch method where we start off where we left off here with Bambietta's like burnt out, sliced up corpse land on the ground, and then Coma standing over it and he's like, oh, I didn't know you wanted your bird meat extra crispy or some line like that. And then we're either going to get a little scene of Bambietta like twitch her finger or something like, oh, she's not really dead yet, and then cut away to something completely different because we got a lot of fights to cover, dude. We got the Toshiro one and the Soifon one. Those lasted like 5 chapters. Now we got Coma, which lasted like 3. We got other fights to get on to. What's Shunsui and Ashwald up to? What's freaking out? Where did Asking go off to? What's with the, what's the issue of, Ichigo we're probably not going to get for a couple more chapters. I think Kubo just kind of threw him in there just kind of as a, gotta go back to Ichigo, gotta remember what people, gotta remind people who the actual main hero of this story is. But we got a bunch of shit ton of more fights to look at, so I'm hoping we get to a new one next chapter. It's Tekking101 signing out. Later, guys. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here. As we all know, this week's Bleach chapter exploded with an amount of testosterone manly awesomeness, the likes of which we haven't seen in Bleach since Yama fought against Yuha. Kinda, sorta. But you know what other series is like that almost on a weekly basis? Toriko. So that is an awesome series, and you should definitely check that out. But also what you should check out if you're a fan of Toriko is Jim's Nerd Nation, because he is doing manga chapter reviews of Toriko the same way he did with One Piece. So he did One Piece, he did, basically he started back from the beginning, and he read every single chapter, and he did a review for every single one. He's going to be doing the same shit with Toriko. I'm really hyped for it. I'm really looking forward to his videos on this because it's going to be pretty wild. It's a pretty crazy series. It's one of the first series that I actually, just when I started reading manga online, where I began reading it all the way through. I think I started reading Toriko and it was like up to chapter 30, so I started when it was fairly new. Especially check out Jim's Nerd Nation. Link in the description below. I'm pumped.